What's going on, guys and ladies and gentlemen out there? I'm playing with these filters. Let me stop that. You know. But I'm live in the studio here in Denver, Colorado, and I'm going to be doing a review, as you guys can see, of Tony Robbins' Unshakable. I read it a little while ago, and by me reading it a little while ago, I always said I was going to do a book review. I don't have the book on me actually right here. I'm actually in the studio working, as you guys can see a little bit. There's other people in the studio. This is a little booth, all of the good stuff like that. But I'm in the studio, and the reason why I'm in the studio, if you guys log on, give it a thumbs up if you guys want to. That'll be cool. Hold on. But have you may hear this, thanks for logging in. And Tony Robbins' book, Unshakable, was about a financial literacy book in a way. The thing about Tony Robbins, I read his first book, not his first book, but I read his 7 Steps to Mastering Money a couple years ago. Not a couple years ago, about a year or two ago. And when I saw the Unshakable one come out, I went and grabbed it too. Because the 7 Ways to Master Money was a good one. But thought I'd just give the other one a second try. But let's think about it. The book itself. Which I want first, the likes and dislikes. My dislike of the first book, not the first book, of the book, was Tony Robbins. He talks a little bit too much for a financial literacy book of my taste. I kind of wanted him to stay on topic a little bit. I kind of wanted to get more information about a financial literacy piece, which he had some strong pieces in there, and he brought along some very powerful people like he always do, and very noticeable names in the financial industry. The thing about it is the whole motivational piece and the whole hoorah that Tony Robinson does, that he's great at, that he's awesome at, is good, but I wasn't looking inside of it in a financial literacy book. What I was looking for mostly was for the financial literacy aspect. So that's what I didn't like the book. I think that if he would have cut a lot of that out, that the book could have been, about 25% of the book could have been gone away with. So a lot of this narratives that he did and the little motivational stuff that he does, I wasn't a big fan of that. Now, the good part about the video, the book, was the best part about the book, most recognizable piece that I can't forget, is the part where he talks about preparing for a bear market by Peter Mallouk. Peter Mallouk came in and wrote a chapter or two, can't remember how many chapters it was, but he wrote a good piece by Peter Mallouk. That was the best portion of the book. The thing that made that portion of the book good was that it spoke about Peter Mallouk. He's notorious for, I think before the market crash, he had 500 million under assets under management. And by the time he navigated through the market crash, he had 1.2 billion, and now he goes on to manage like 22 billion or something like that. So, and this was when the economy went down and it came back up. He navigated through, he slayed the bear. He did a very good job on the bear market. That was the best part of the book. It did so good that I went out and researched Peter Mallouk, found Peter Mallouk, and spoke to him about coming on the show to talk about his portion of the book. I think it was very masterful. That was the most important piece of the whole book. That's what made the book kind of like worth it. The rest of it was kind of, whatever the case may be. But the best part I liked about it was Peter Mallouk. Now, who would I recommend this book to? I would recommend this book to someone who is a Tony Robbins fan. The thing about Tony Robbins is that his book is about this thick. It's a pretty thick book, and it's a lot of, storytelling in it. It reminded me of Damon John's book, Power of Broke. A lot of too much storytelling in it, when the stories play a role, but sometimes they're way too over detailed for me for what I'm looking for. I'm looking for good hard nuggets thrown out throughout the book. So that was the part I didn't enjoy about the book. That's the most important piece, was the Peter Mallouk part. I read it a couple weeks ago, but that's the biggest piece that I remember out of that book. Now, who would I recommend reading? I know I kind of got off the line when I said that, But I would probably recommend this to not a brand new investor. I would recommend this more to a maybe intermediate type investor. That would probably be it. Intermediate. I won't say beginner. Beginner, I would say Tony Robbins' 7 Ways to Master Money, a book review that I already did. Because what makes that book good is that it takes a person who knows nothing about finance, it gives them the nasty, and it tells them how they could set up something. But that's about it. Another bad part about the book, it wasn't very practical. Peter Mallouk, you did a great job, outstanding job, but it wasn't practical. What I mean by practical, you could say, hey, go out, buy a REIT, a real estate investment trust. They don't say how much they cost. They don't say what's the stock symbol. They didn't say this is the one I like. This is the one to look for in a REIT. But they were like, oh, get a REIT. Then also get a bond. And they don't say what type of bonds, how to purchase it. But should I get a government bond? Should I get a municipal bond? So it wasn't very practical. But hey, it put the knowledge out there. You got to go look up the rest on your own. But that was enough for me. But because I'm a decent, still learning this thing, pretty good investor, I knew how to look it up and find the information he was talking about. But to a brand new person who doesn't know anything about, who doesn't have a brokerage account, who doesn't have anything like that, they may find it a little hard to, not hard, but they may find it in a way kind of hard to digest. This guy tells me, hey, go buy an ETF. What is an ETF? Where can I buy an ETF? How do I get it? Do I need to call a broker? How do I do that? There are thousands of ETFs that track the S&P 500. Which one do you recommend, Peter Mallouk, and why? What do you look for? So those things, making it more practical would have made it over the top, made it better. So I hope my review is not rambling too much. If you're logged in, if you like it, give it a thumbs up as always. I think that's about it. That's what I liked about the book. I liked it overall. A little too long, but there's a lot of good information in there. A lot of repeat information I know, but the most powerful part was Peter Mallouk preparing for the bear market, and that I could think of. That's a good part about Tony Robbins. Another good masterful piece that he did was telling the difference between a fiduciary and a stockbroker and what to look for in a fiduciary. But, for the average person, that may not be too practical because a lot of people don't have the funds or they're not at the level to where they may hire a fiduciary. So that may be my one thing. But overall, for me, I learned a lot because I knew what Tony Robbins, the things that he said he was looking for in financial advisors. I knew to say, hey, you know what? I want to make sure this is the difference between a good one and a bad one, right? The stuff that I want to share. So that was pretty good. And I also learned about preparing for a bear market. I definitely like the way that how he did his bonds. That was very practical for me. That helped me out a lot. But I don't know if that'll be practical for other people. But anyway, so that's my review overall. If I had to give it a 1 to 10, Tony Robbins financial book, I probably got to give you about an 8. 8. A lot of talking. I'm not the one. I'm not a person who's big into financial stories and the histories and the history is good to an aspect, but not too far off into the history of behavior and all that stuff like that. That's cool knowledge, but I wanted the whole cold hard facts of Unshakable. But overall, pretty decent book, intermediate investor. But I would recommend getting Peter Mallouk's 5 Mistakes All Investors Make and How to Avoid Them. Great read, because that's what got me into that book was Tony Robbins' book. And Peter Mallouk, if you watch this, you listen to this, come on the show and quit playing and tell your people. But anyway, I'm in the studio. I'm going to get back to work. Thank you guys for everything. Happy 2018. You guys stay tuned. Love each and every one of you guys. Thank you for the support. I'm here creating more content for you guys and hopefully have some more great things coming for you. Peace. Be safe. I'm out. Thank you. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up.